shelter from the storm. Have you noticed how people don't always do what you think they should? Have you noticed it's like they're not checking in with you before they take action? Have you noticed how people leave? The ones you love, the ones you care for. They either leave to go on to something else for themselves, or they leave the planet. They leave behind your memories, and we know the truth. They're not gone anywhere, they're right here. But you can't call them on the phone. You can't give them one more hug. You can't get that word of reassurance from that dear friend or from your mom or dad. It says, hey kid, I know who you are. You're going to be okay. Our positive spiritual teachings are amazing. They don't stop life from happening, right? There's this metaphysical malpractice that's common in New Thought churches, that if you only affirm it, the world will go smoothly. Well, have you noticed the world doesn't go smoothly, even for New Thought churches? That's not to say that the teaching doesn't work. It does. It changes you. Life will happen. Turn me down for 1 second. Try it again. Now back up. That's so much better. Okay, better? Right. So life will happen. People will do things that you think they shouldn't. People are going to leave and people are going to die. It is part of the evolutionary process that things need to fall apart and be reformed as something new. Only our thinking that it is bad is why it is bad. Let's say that again. Only our thinking that it is bad is why it appears as bad to us. It's like, we need to be reminded, I know I do, I need to be reminded constantly that the world does not take my marching orders. The one who takes my marching orders is me. And my marching orders sometimes need to be upgraded. Sometimes to be reminded of who I really am and what is really important. I ran across this quote by Muhammad Ali, that volunteering is the way we pay for our living on earth. And shifting us from what we're supposed to receive from life to what we're supposed to give to life. What are you giving to the planet today? What are you giving in service to the world? And we know that that's a direct correlation to what you will receive. And you do experience. Today is our Volunteer Sunday, where we're honoring all the people who volunteer here that keep this place active, alive, and vibrant. You know, it is wonderful that you're here, and we have something to talk to you about as this goes on. But I want you to take a breath for a second and realize something. Unity San Francisco has been in existence for 98 years as of July 1st. 98 years. There have been a stream of volunteers through this door, through the doors on 9th Street, through the doors on Market, and through the doors on the other two churches that I haven't even gone back and dug the research into yet to find out the other two buildings that we inhabited. That a stream of volunteer after volunteer after volunteer has stepped up and said, use me. Let me be of service. Let me make sure that the sound is happening and that the music is sung and that the place is clean and that the programs are folded and that people are welcomed. and that there's someone to pray with. There's someone to pray with after service to remind us and shift us back to the consciousness that we are one with the one God, and that there is nothing to fix. That divine order is operating right here and now. Divine order is happening. Research shows, and we know this intellectually, but it's really amazing to do the research on it. Research shows that people who volunteer live longer, happier, and more fulfilled lives. Right? And research also shows that people who are extremely busy and who volunteer find that they have more time at the end of the day. Right? That we may know that intellectually, and we may know it's true, but I hear myself say, can't, don't, sometimes. I have to choose how to step out, how to step up to my full potential. Right? So it's fascinating to know that we can have the best of intentions. And as Oscar Wilde put it, the smallest act of kindness is worth more than the grandest intention. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be monumental. It can be a small gift, a small adaptation of your daily routine to expand yourself further. You know, volunteering actually saved my life. Not only saved it, transformed it, gave me a new one, better than I had been living. Way, way better than I had been living. Because when I joined a 12-step program, I didn't know anything about life other than it seemed like my own immediate needs, right? My own immediate survival feelings, if I could even identify them. But the thing was, it was amazing. It taught me that if I wanted to get something out of this, if I wanted to get results, I needed to give. Right? That I could sit in a meeting, a 12-step meeting, and sit there and not participate at all and not give anything to the group and walk out with what I had given. Nothing. But that if I gave, if I raised my hand and just shared what I was feeling that day, or got up and did service and put out coffee and took care of other people and straightened up the chairs or put them away, that I got 10 times more than I gave out of it. And my life shifted. My life transformed. And the same is true here. Right? The same is true. I know the people who volunteer do it because you get something more out of it than if you just come. There's a reason to show up in the day. And for the people whose storm has been hitting. The storm of life has them buried at the moment. When they walk in the door and see you giving and welcoming and praying and serving and performing and lifting, they are forever changed. It is the cycle that keeps giving to us when we need it. We keep these doors open year after year, and we keep the teachings evolving and digging down deeper in how to apply them in our lives when, the S does hit the fan, right? When it does not work as we think it should, and we face a diagnosis or a situation that we didn't want to happen. For 98 years, this community has been helping people to cure themselves from diseases that their doctors told them were incurable. I am looking around the room right now, and I know so many of you for whom that's true. But think of all the ones who came before you who have done the same thing. That this teaching is so important that you, your mind, your beliefs, your very presence is enough to heal yourself. That when you align yourself with the truth of who you are, God's magnificent expression, that every cell and atom in your body has no choice but to respond to it. We have been through a depression and ultimate recessions after recession, after boom and bust in the 98 years this church has been here. And yet, here we are, Always teaching the truth that your paycheck is not your source. The government check that comes for your retirement or your personal and private retirement is not the source of your good. Do you get that? It's not the source of your financial blessing. It's just the channel. It's just the channel it's coming through. Would you like to open another channel? Would you like to open another channel? Well, look for it. Find out what's blocking it. Unclutter it. And let the source, God, the universe, Spirit itself, flow to you. Stop saying there isn't enough. Say, how do I find out how to receive more? How do I shift myself in order to receive more? Because the truth is, the only thing blocking your good is you. You. There may be someone in front of you who's saying, no, it's not through me. Well, good. That's good to know. I'll go somewhere else. Our positive thinking doesn't change other people. Our positive thinking changes us. And there are, how many now? 7 billion people on the planet. Someone else is waiting for you, looking for you, hoping that you will show up in their lives. Where? Everywhere. Everywhere. Right? When we are prepared to say, how do I need to shift? Who do I need to be in this situation? What can I let go of so that I can be of service to the world? Then the world will be of service to you. My favorite quote from Karen Jobber, more equals give. If you want more money, spend more money. Give more money. And there's another research that shows us that people who give to not-for-profits, that give to charity and to churches, feel wealthier. Not only feel wealthier, there's research that proves that they actually make more money. And if you want it, I have it up in the office. I'll show it to you later. Adam Grant at Wharton School of Business has a whole book and a pile of research on it that people who give make more. And so when you're contracting and saying, I can't, you're saying it to yourself, to the higher self you are. More equals give. If you want more friends, be a better friend. Go the extra mile. If you want this spiritual community to be more loving and caring, do more for it. Be more loving and caring to the people in it. Be here with Kate or whoever is at the front door and greeting them. Join the prayer chaplain team next to you when it comes up again. Be of service. There's a ton of stuff we need done. Trust me. And there always will be. Right? There always will be. Because we can keep expanding our mission and our ministry. We can keep making it as large as the planet needs it, and boy, does the planet need it. Right? The planet needs all of us to show up as our full selves. And we have. We have fundamentally shifted the conversation because of the volunteers in this church. Because of the people who sit here and keep the doors open, we have fundamentally shifted the conversation in the world, where the world now knows what we started teaching 125 years ago. That as you change your mind, the reality changes to match it. That the most important decision that you have to make in your life is whether we live in a friendly or hostile universe. Albert Einstein. And when you decide that you live in a friendly universe, that all of this is for you, you serve. So the world is catching up to what we know. And the people here who make this all happen every week are the lifeblood of the whole situation. 98 years. And if you're despairing and worried about the state of our own country, I loved this quote. Volunteering is the ultimate exercise in democracy. You vote in elections once a year, once every 4 years, some of us not at all. Part of the problem, maybe. But when you volunteer, you vote every day about the kind of community and the kind of world you want to live in. If you want more, give. If you want a more compassionate and loving and caring world, give to it. Be that more loving and compassionate and forgiving person. Because I need to be forgiven so many times a day. By myself and by others. For where I fall short. But I know the truth that every action is in the whole of my being. And our volunteers, sometimes our volunteers and our prayer chaplains and the other people who work in the office with me have to remind me of that. Because I'm a human being. But I'm a spiritual being as well. I'm a spiritual being, as Pierre de Chardin taught us, having this human experience. And when I remind myself and others remind me that I'm more than I appear to be, and that I'm capable of much more than I'm setting myself up for, I feel born again and renewed. So, what kind of community we want to live in? What kind of world and nation do we want to live in? And I said it to you for the last 6 months, since Election Day in November. If we want it to be different, we have to be different. We have to stop calling anyone names. Right? We can't call other people names because they called us names. What are we, in the schoolyard again? We're all 5 years old. We're all 5 years old. He started it. We need to remind each other that there is a better way. There's a higher path. There is something more than the immediacy. And so it comes to something we teach in Absolute Abundance for me. It comes down to this principle. Time, talents, and treasure. We ask to give in this world and of ourselves by this community, by this teaching of our time. And what I mean by that and what we mean by time is that it's sitting here in the pews. It's writing down the things you hear, applying it to your everyday life, doing the readings, doing the meditations, praying with the prayer chaplain. Time, giving of time, is giving in service to your own spiritual renewal. It's giving to your own awareness of your true nature. It's giving to who you really are. That unless we all shift our consciousness and raise it to something higher, if we all don't do the work, all of our service is in service to something lower than us, to the baser instincts of our life. But when we give of our time to prayer, to meditation, to reading, to classes, to Sunday service, we're lifting ourselves. The giving of your talents is bringing yourself to this place or to another volunteer situation and giving from that consciousness. From giving from the consciousness that knows there's no lack. Giving from the consciousness that knows that your thoughts are things. They're just not idle and random. They're things that affect the world. What are you giving out? What is the words that are coming out of your mouth? What are the words you're allowing free rent in your head, right? Free rent. They play ping pong in there, right? Oh, bang, 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 bang. Back and forth, negative, 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 negative. Stop. I am a child of God. I am an expression of the divine. And I lift myself to something higher, and I serve from that place. And then, give from that place of your financial wealth. As I've said a million times here, every one of us, no matter what your financial situation in here is, every one of us that are sitting in these pews today is probably wealthier than the majority of the people on the planet. No lie. Fact. Doesn't make us any happier, does it? Yeah. Giving, serving, makes us happier. Giving and serving lifts us all. So, I'm going to leave you with this. There is no amount of staff we could hire. There is no amount of ministers that could serve here that could do the job of what you volunteers do. That when someone walks in the door, the new person or the longtime member who needs a hug, you're here to give it. No amount of staff could I train to be that loving, compassionate, and intimate with our congregation. The volunteers are the backbone of Unity San Francisco, and it is what has enabled it to exist for this 98 years. Without each and every one of you, I wouldn't be standing here. Period. Period. I'm almost inconsequential then, even though I have this title. It is because of you that I'm here. And when you take that in and understand it fully, you realize how powerful you really are. How you greet people, how you serve on the PowerPoint, or on the sound, on the camera, and hospitality is a prayer chaplain, cleaning the garden, planting the garden, counting the money. Every one of those acts of generosity make what we do possible. And make no mistake about it. What you do and what we do, vitally important. I have a letter for all of our volunteers that you're going to receive today. The work you do here at Unity San Francisco is essential into transforming and lifting people's lives, yours included. For 98 years, Unity San Francisco has been a beacon of the positive spiritual practices and teachings here in Unity in San Francisco. We have helped cure people of diseases that doctors called incurable. We have given people hope and a new way to think about finances and money through depressions and many recessions. We have taught that peace is more than the absence of war. It is prevalence, of peace and loving compassion in our hearts and minds. Now, in the 21st century, we are uniquely positioned to be the spiritual home for people who are looking for a new way of being in the world. The work you do here, greeting people, helping others with hospitality, making sure that the service runs smoothly, serving on the board, and praying with others, lifts everyone who walks through our doors or watches us online. There is, as I said, no amount of staff I could hire, train, and deploy that would equal the amazing gifts and presence of our dedicated team of volunteers. Even if we had unlimited resources, which I affirm we do, you and our volunteers would still be essential to our mission and ministry. You truly are Unity San Francisco. You are the ones whom people see and know. You are the ones people see and know long before they meet the minister or ministers, hear a note of music from the band, or get to stop and pray and consult with us. For you and all that you do, I am in awe. I am extremely grateful. And I am abundantly blessed. Deanne and I are going to stand here as the band and our music team sings our meditation song. And we're going to ask that each and every person who volunteers here in any way, shape, or form come forward so that we can have a moment with you. And we have gifts. We have stuff that we're going to get to. Yes, yay! We have some essentials. We have a bag to schlep all your stuff in. We have a daily word for each and every one of you. And if you already have it, or get it online, or don't want it, pay it forward. Give it forward. There's extras if you want to take a whole bunch and give them away this week. And I have this letter from my heart. And I hope you know when you take it, that it truly, truly I'm in awe of what you are, who you are, and what has come before us. So, yeah, those are, if you're running with these.